Allison, can you explain what internet is?
I still love technology.
Pretty amazing.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Hey guys, Mr. Ogden here. Today we're going to be learning how to make a burger using Photoshop. First of all, open Photoshop and click New. Select default Photoshop size and just title this Burger. Press Create. And now we're going to be working on using layers. Layers are down here on the bottom right. Right now we have one layer, and it's the background, and it's the main background. So for starters, we're going to go ahead and select the paintbrush tool, the brush tool, and remember to change the brush tool size. We can use this up here, or if you hit the brackets, which are next to the letter P, the brackets left and the brackets right, it'll make it bigger or smaller. So this is the brush tool, and if you bring your brush over here, mine's nice and big right now. If you use the brackets by the P, the letter P, click the brackets left and right, it'll make it bigger and smaller. You can do the same thing over here by dragging the brush size down. So the first thing I want you to do is just spell your name. So Mr. Ogden. I'll just put OG for now since I ran out of room. Now if you go to here to the brush tools and you go to hardness and you bring the hardness all the way to the right and go ahead and do your name again, you'll notice that the text is much darker. So go ahead and practice that on your own. Go ahead and pause the tutorial video and do that on your own. Once you're done spelling out your name with the hardness, go ahead and leave the hardness where it's at 100%. And then we want to get rid of all this so it's back to white. So hold down Control, Alt, and press Z a bunch of times. Control, Alt, and Z a bunch of times, and then it will go back to normal. So we have our background selected as black right now, or excuse me, our foreground. We want to go ahead and change that to brown since we're going to be doing a bun for a burger. Go ahead and go in the orange somewhere and click over here and you'll get a nice brown. We want to make our burger nice and big, so hit the bracket to the right. You can even just hold it down till it's nice and big. That's good, and then just click once. Now we have our brown burger. If you notice down here, that is the background color. If you come down here to where the layers are, this little page button next to the trash can looks like a little piece of paper. It says Create New Layer. Go ahead and click that once. Now we're on an additional layer. Now we want to go ahead and add our lettuce. So let's go ahead and draw our lettuce. Let's just bring our drawing tool, our paintbrush size down much further. And then now let's go ahead and go to our colors and go to a green. Get a nice green color for our lettuce. Click OK. I'm just going to kind of draw in some lettuce, what I think lettuce might look like. It's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now instead of coloring all this in by hand, what I can do is just simply use the fill tool. So to fill this green in, what you can do is just go ahead and click on this button right here below the eraser. It looks like a little rectangle. And what you're going to do is it's called the gradient tool. You're just going to right click on gradient and hit paint bucket tool. Now I have my paint bucket tool. Now I just come in here to the green and select once and it will fill in. And if you notice, some of the lines aren't filled in right here. If you just zoom in, you can click on the line and it will go away and fill in that little line as well. Okay, next thing we're going to do is add a burger. So go ahead and go back to your paintbrush tool and make it nice and big using the brackets next to the letter P. And don't make it bigger than the bun, but just a little bit smaller than the bun is good. And we need to change our color. But first we need to add a new layer. So let's go ahead and hit the layer button again and do new layer. And let's just title this first one, just so we keep track of all of our layers, just go ahead and title them. What you do is you just click in the layer and it says layer 0, and I'm going to title that bun. Click OK. I'm going to title this layer. You can double click as well. lettuce, hit enter, double click, and I'm going to title this layer meat. So this will be our meat. Now I need to change our color over here from green to a darker brown color. So if you go to the oranges again and go a little bit darker, that will be our meat color. Click OK and put your burger right there. That'll be our meat layer. Now if you want to get fancy with it, you can make your brush size smaller. If you want to make it look like it came straight off the grill, click on the first layer, click on the black foreground layer and click OK. And now you can make little grill marks. Oops, let's go back. You can make little grill marks in your patty like it came off the grill. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add a tomato. So let's add a new layer and call it tomato. And let's go to our brush tool, which we already are on. Let's change the color to red. And let's make our brush size bigger. Let's make our tomato a little bit smaller than the patty so we can still see the patty. And click. Okay, and if I went ahead and selected another color, I went a little bit lighter for like a lighter pink, click OK. Make my brush size smaller. Now I can kind of add some more detail to this tomato. Something like that. You can add some color here, color here, color here, color here, and color here. Now here's a pretty cool tool I want to show you guys. If you go over here to the brush and you just right click and you go to this one, the mixer brush tool. Now you can make your brush bigger using the bracket, and you can just click and drag and it will mix these colors in a little bit. Just click and drag and it'll kind of mix the darker with the lighter, and so it kind of adds a little cool effect to the tomato. Doesn't look great, but it's a cool tool to use. So you can mix that in a little bit. You can add other dots if you want. Okay, so right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. You need to add 3 more, so whether that's cheese or mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, whatever you would like to add to your burger. Just make sure if you make a piece of cheese, try to figure that out. Make it nice and square and small so you can see the other layers, and add some a little bit of mustard or ketchup. Make sure you have at least 7 layers though. Start with these ones and then you can add to it from there. Once you're done with your video, you're going to go File, Save As. And when you go to the file type, you're going to go down to JPEG. So change the format. Yours looks a little bit different than mine because it's a Mac. But go ahead and just title it Burger and go to JPEG. And then click Save and click OK. And now, okay, so you're going to turn in your burger once you have the seven different layers, and they're titled down here on the bottom right. And then you're going to go to File, Save As, like I showed you before, and then change the format to JPEG, and then turn that into Google Classroom. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to turn in a separate picture of all the layers of your burger separated out. So you're going to click on the Move tool up here in the top left, and then you're just going to click and drag, and you can move these layers around, but we need to make them smaller. So what I want you to do is just click on one of them. So let's say I click my meat, and you're going to go to Edit, Transform, Scale. That's Edit, Transform, Scale. You click that, and now you can just, like Google Draw, you just click and you can make it smaller. So now we go to our Move tool again, click Apply, Move tool, Edit, Transform, Scale. We can make that smaller. Move it around, click on the next layer, or click on the Move tool, click on the next layer, and now we want to make that one small again. So once you have all your objects from your burger created and then spread out so I can see all of them, go ahead and save it, File, Save As, and then again, save it as a JPEG, and then turn that picture in to Google Classroom as well. Now when you go to Google Classroom and you open up the assignment and turn it in, you'll add file and add that file to Google Classroom. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.